welcome to Press TV News Analysis. I'm Kaveh Tafway. In this news analysis, we're discussing Egypt. It is experiencing the contagion effect of Tunisia's revolution, with massive demonstrations to have claimed at least 4 lives and 500 arrests so far. Egyptians, like Tunisians, want an improved quality of life economically, but their other demand, the ouster of the regime of Hosni Mubarak.
After Tunisia, now it's the Egyptians' turn to rise up against their government. The streets of Egypt have been the scene of heavy clashes between police and anti-government protesters. Police have fired tear gas and used water cannons to disperse protesters in the capital Cairo in the latest round of demonstrations against the government of President Hosni Mubarak, whom they accuse of dictatorship. Opposition group Muslim Brotherhood and other activists have called on Egyptians to continue their popular protests after what they described as the Day of Wrath on Tuesday. The demonstrators are angry about torture, poverty, corruption, and they also demand an end to President Mubarak's 30-year rule, the dissolution of parliament, and unemployment. Formation of a national unity government. Some reports say President Mubarak's son and wife have fled to Britain amid spreading unrest across the country. The demonstrators have promised to continue protests despite a government ban on any demonstrations. Protest organizers have announced a general strike on Wednesday and Thursday. Tuesday's coordinated protests have been among the largest since Mubarak took power 3 decades ago. The events have been inspired by the recent revolution in Tunisia. The tempest has not been limited to Tunisia and Egypt, as similar protests have been held in several other Arab countries, including Algeria, Yemen, and Jordan. With the growing tide of popular anger against the Arab governments, time will tell whether the region is entering into a new era where people's power can bring about drastic changes in their countries.
Well, joining us to discuss this further from the UK Muslim Brotherhood, we have a representative, Mohammed Ghanem, joining us from London. A professor of international law, Abdullah Al-Ashal, joining us from Cairo. And Professor of Middle East Affairs, Gamal Wakim, joining us from Beirut. Gentlemen, thank you all. I'm going to go straight to our guests in Beirut first. Gamal Wakim, Egypt is now experiencing the contagion effect of the Tunisian revolution, but Egypt is not Tunisia. Is it too premature to say that Egypt is going to be following the same path?
It's true that Egypt is not Tunisia, but in the past few decades there was an erosion of all elements of Egyptian national security. Starting with the Egyptian role in Palestine and in the Near East, to Egypt's role in Sudan or influence in Sudan, and along or in the countries that are contingent to the Nile River, all the way to Yemen and to Somalia, in addition to its isolation from Libya. So all these elements added to the bad situation of the Egyptians, the rampant poverty in Egypt, all this accumulated to lead to the eruption of this unrest that we are witnessing now.
Let me go to our guest in Cairo, Abdullah Al-Ashal. Do Egyptians have good reasons to revolt against the regime of Hosni Mubarak?
The Egyptians have 2 categories of reasons. The first category is related, in fact, to the economic and social phenomena in Egypt. And secondly, we have extra category of reasons. I mean those reasons related to the problem of water, which is very complicated, and the shortage of the Egyptian government policy towards the African states. And as well, we have also the cohesion among the Egyptians and the reconciliation between Muslims and Christians, in which Israel is playing a very bad role and havoc with the unity of Egypt. So I think we need to revolt, because the government didn't respond at all to our peaceful calls. And they thought arrogantly that the Egyptians are not revolting at all. And they were reading our history in a very bad way. The Egyptians were revolting only against colonialists. But in fact, we have national occupation. And we have to revolt against the more severe occupation, which is in fact engendered in the national rule. So the problem between the Egyptians and the regime in Egypt is that the regime didn't listen at all. It made very lightly all the calls. It had looked to the suicide cases as something very arrogantly. So I think that we have many reasons to revolt. We don't have any other chance for any reform because all the calls for reform are exported now, I mean exhausted, and I think the regime has the very thin chance so as to make something, not to press the people or to oppress the demonstrators or to use the security forces so as to enhance the problem of the regime. But I think the regime can do something very radically. At the end of the day, the regime itself is going to collapse if it is receding and if it is giving these concessions.
Of course, in the difference between Egypt and Tunis, as you start with, they have some differences, but they are two parts of the same nation. It's a Muslim nation. And both countries, they have a leadership or a political structure being hijacked by bad families or by leadership. Ben Ali and Mubarak is the same family. They hijack the will of the people. They suppress people. They have a monopoly of power. They collect the wealth. They suck the blood of the people. And the only way now is to rise up and get rid of Hosni Mubarak exactly the same as Ben Ali. And he will, because the Egyptian people rised up and they gone in a point beyond return. Now, the common demand now for all the section and all the population in Egypt to remove the head of the snake. Mr. Mubarak is the head, and his family is the head of the corruption. And no other analysis, no other demand, nothing before they get rid of Mr. Mubarak and his allies.
And my question is the opposition party, whom do you see that forming together with a leadership to what you called the head of the snake be removed?
It's not the opposition party now. It is the people. The people rise down everywhere. Nobody can go against the will of the people. And as the Tunisian people gone up and rised, they get rid of the Ben Ali. The Egyptian people will do the same, and they will never rest. And all the opposition have agreed and submit to the people demand to ask for the removal as Mr. Mubarak and his family.
Okay.
There is no other demand at the moment, and there is no other rest. There will not be rest in the Egyptian street unless Mr. Mubarak go. And I think he is now getting his bag get ready to get out. As his son already reported, he's left the Egypt, he's run. And
right.
Some of the wealthy people, they already left Egypt.
I think that the riots now, or the unrest, or the revolution now, it's not led by one party. I think that there is a new generation of rebels, because as we see, it's a new generation that is using the new media, Facebook or Twitter or other means, and I don't know what would be the political map in Egypt in case Mubarak is ousted. but that's on the domestic level or internal level. I don't know what are the forces that could take over. For sure, it's not the Muslim Brotherhood. They are the strongest opposition party, but they cannot form alone a government or lead alone a government. They will be one of too many other components. But one thing that is sure, that any new government that could take over power in case Mubarak is ousted, and it seems that, I don't know, for the first time I see an opportunity for a regime change in Egypt since 5 decades mainly. In case this happens, actually, what we will see is a coalition among different national forces, but the main objective or the main factor for stability or for this government to last is to appeal to the or to try to solve the problems, the economic problems and the social problems for the people.
Okay.
If a change of power occurs in Egypt, actually, it will have big repercussions on the regional level. For the first time since 5 decades, we will see regional reshuffles in the political map, the geopolitical map of the Middle East.